I've been having motor mount problems. This is a brand new motor mount. It only lasted like 3 months. What happened is I'm running a 1904 cc motor with higher horsepower. I'm running about 110, 115 horses, and my problem is well, that's my problem. Too much power, and I'm ripping the motor mount with the at the nose cone. So this is not working out. So I've got another motor mount that I installed. That's a rhino mount. Works great. It can haul ass. Won't bust. I've busted many rubber ones, and I went to this guy, but the problem is I can't have a conversation inside the car when I'm running 70 miles an hour on the freeway. It's just too noisy. This is what I ordered. I got this mid-mount motor mount that I ordered, and basically comes with the bell housing motor mounts, the same ones that are in your bug, in the bell housing, where the bell housing meets your motor. And let's see, we're gonna have to remove somehow the studs that are in the transmission so we can get these guys in place. One thing I didn't like though was the plate that I have to weld to the horns of the frames. It only came with one gusset. I believe they wanted me to weld it right in the middle like that. It just kind of seems like it should be one there, but I guess being in the center, it might be able to take a lot more beating. I don't know. I guess they did it for a reason. Okay, so more or less, this is how this thing goes. These holes are going basically onto here, so it'll be kind of like that right there. It looks like it's got plenty of clearance. Shouldn't have any problems bottoming out. So I like it. Okay, to remove the front nose cone mount, you need to disconnect your cable, your throttle cable. You need to disconnect your air ducts, and you need to remove the tin. This tin needs to come off. That will give you the room to move that way. And let's see, what else you need to disconnect. You don't have to disconnect any wires, fuel lines, or anything like that. There should be enough wiggle room for you to move the transmission and engine this way without having to really mess around with anything else other than that. Okay, you'll also need to remove the wing nut on your clutch. That's so you can pull the transmission and engine to the rear. Okay, you'll need to remove that big nut right there. You'll need to remove that nut also on both sides, and make sure you support your engine with a jack or something, so that you can be able to roll it back. And let's see what else you need to do. Make sure you leave your e-brake cable, all the way down. In other words, not tight, because if it's tight, you might not be able to move the engine back. Especially if you got the original stock one, you might have to go even further back. So you might have to loosen these right here. Oh, that's so blurry. You might need to loosen these guys. Remove the nuts, but don't slide the shaft off the plate. Now, to remove the motor mounts, or the rear transmission mounts that sit in the bell housing, for that you do need to drop the engine. You need to remove it. You want to remove this guy. Sorry, there we go. This guy right here, that little square nut or screw. You want to remove that. Don't mess around with this. Don't mess around with this stuff. Just leave it, okay? You don't have to remove this. Just that little thing, and this will slide right off. Okay, we got the wheels off. We're on safety stands right now. We're almost ready to move the engine back so we can get that tranny nose cone mount off. We got this guy out of the way. We got the tin off. Now let's see, we've got cable disconnected. Let's see. We've got all the bolts off. The grounding strap is off. Let's see. We've got our heater cables disconnected on both sides, and here we go. Anyways, before you remove these bolts, make sure you use a jack. Take the load off. Otherwise, when you try to put them back on, you might cross thread them, and then you're going to be in big trouble. Okay, anyway, if you're having trouble also putting them back on, what you can use is a crowbar, and just mess around with it, pulling and yanking and just whatnot. Just center it with the crowbar so that you can find the threads, but don't cross thread these. If you do, you're in deep doo-doo. And don't forget to disconnect the shifter underneath the seat. And I think we are ready to push him back. If we can't get that motor mount out, we're gonna have to loosen these 3 bolts, these 2 in the back and 1 in the front, and actually remove them and move this guy a little bit this way, a little bit that way to the back. So that's pretty much it, really. That should move back. Well, we gave it a try, but we are going to have to loosen the shafts because I can see the flexing. I can see the flexing happening. These plates are flexing with this tube, and it's just pushing the transmission forward. So I figured it was a long shot. Yeah, we're gonna have to remove these 3 bolts so that there's no pressure pushing the transmission forward. Okay, before you loosen these guys, I already got one loose, but it doesn't matter. Make sure you describe that this thing has already right here. There's a cut on your axle tube. Make sure you make a dimple or mark it somehow so that you know that when you're putting it back together, your alignment's not off. So what I'm doing is just grabbing a punch and just so I know where it is. That way my alignment won't be off. Just one of those tech tips. Okay, you might be able to get away with it. Just don't remove this bolt. You might be able to get away with it. Just have it really, really loose. The problem is, as you can see, there's a huge separation right here. That means that the plate is being flexed, and that's what's causing the transmission to get pushed forward. So you might be able to push it backwards once this thing is just really, really loose. Okay, let's give it a try. Okay, let's try it again. See if we can get this motor mount out, or tranny mount. Looks like we are. Almost. Almost. A little bit more. Should be okay. And there it is. She's out. Now the original transmission mount, nose mount, has a huge bump over here that goes in here, and that you will need more room, so you might have to actually remove the other 3rd bolt on the side plates of the axle shafts so that you get enough room to do that. Okay, well, that's pretty much it. Let's get the other one in. This is what I'm talking about. See? It has this bump right here. Plus you add this to that, and it's very difficult to get it out of there, but you can. You just have to move the transmission as far back as you can, and as you can see the difference right there. It's a lot. So anyways, here's the new one. This one's like this one. It's just doesn't have that bump in the back. It's just like that. I'm gonna see if we can get this guy in there. And that's pretty much it. She's in. Just tighten it up and bolt it up, and you should be ready to go. Okay, the bar's in. Just have to tighten one more bolt. We're done. Oh, that's it. In case you're wondering how I got the studs out and so that I could put these bolts on, I actually just welded them. You could use some vice grips, but it was easier for me to just cheat. It's the easy way. Now we're gonna tack weld this guy. There we go. Okay, now that we got that welded, or tack welded, we can move on to the gusset. Alright, she's all welded. I went and sprayed it with some undercoat to prevent rust. Now we're gonna go ahead and reinstall the center support, and we should be all done. Alright, she's all bolted up, welded, and we went ahead and sprayed it with some undercoat just to keep the rust away. So, see, it's only got one gusset. I'm sure it'll hold up though. Let's get it better glass so you guys get an idea. Okay. Well, if you ever wondered how to install one of these, that's how you do it. And it wasn't that difficult really. So, good luck with the project.